Welcome. Happy Tuesday, everybody, to another episode. Sorry, of the final whistle. I'm Matt Caddell. I got Dan James, our lead recruiting analyst, and we got the one and only Luscion Graves. Guys, how are you doing tonight?
Oh man, we're doing great tonight, man. Tuesday night, we're here with three of the Avengers. Let's get to it, man. Big show tonight.
Big show tonight. We got some exciting things to talk about tonight. Hit that like, subscribe button, follow the rest of the crew on the bottom of the screen. If you're from TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, X, Facebook, get in the comment section. Listen, we're missing two of our fellow Avengers. They're out handling Avengers stuff, but
three of them.
Three of them. Yeah, we're here ready to rock and roll. And before we get started, I know we're going to talk about other stuff, but some news broke today just talking about kickoff for Alabama, Florida State, 2:30 Central on ABC, I believe, on opening kickoff Saturday in college football, going against Florida State. But before we talk about them, let's talk about getting Limestone Inc., getting your yardage and everything. Whenever you need real rock stone, go to realrockstone.com to get your yard work, get that finest stone known in the Southeast, and really have your yard looking premier. So had to get that in. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, the news of Florida State, Alabama, 2:30 kickoff. Want to get your initial thoughts. I know I think we're less than 9-8 weeks from kickoff. Want to get your stuff, just preview of this game, this matchup, and just your thoughts hearing about the 2:30 kickoff.
I'm excited for it. I'd rather face them, in the afternoon than in the
at night.
Yeah. It's a great start, kind of for Alabama. Anytime you're on the road, you want to play during the day.
Yeah, I agree. Luscion?
I feel a little bit differently about this than normal people do, because I remember what this whole team was saying about Alabama a couple years ago when we got in the playoffs when they didn't. So this game to me is a little bit more of get back and shutting the whole entire fan base down and out that ain't been back since for 30 years. I mean, they got one in the mid 2000s, but no one really talks about Jameis Winston and them. But I'm looking forward to stomping some Sentinel booty. That's all I'm looking forward to. I love the time. It's a great opportunity to show all these former Alabama players that decide to test the grass is greener on the other side. Nah, it ain't. Well, daggum tide.
Roll daggum time. I'm interested to see, the challenge that, us having to go against, was it Castanellis, the quarterback from transfer from Boston College?
All right.
Got a lot of wiggle, very shifty. See that matchup, Kane Womack versus Gus Malzahn. I think Ryan Grubb, DeBoer going to be in their bag. But it's going to be an interesting game. So I'm excited. Do you think, it's going to be 2:30 kickoff, Tallahassee, Florida, it'll probably be pretty hot. Do you think Kane Womack comes out there in the long sleeve or sweatshirt to call the
game? Man, I doubt it.
Like
I doubt it. I seriously doubt it.
I think he'll be out there in long sleeves.
I think he's gonna be out. I think he's gonna be crazy out there. He's gonna be like, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be on tilt for real.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm excited to see these guys, and we'll circle back about the guys later in the show. We got some Q&A, but guys, let's get to our first topic. We got a whole slate of topics. So. First topic, let's talk about our top 5 offensive players in college football. For me, it starts with the receivers. I got 2 receivers on there regardless. One that goes to Alabama and one that goes to Ohio State. So
easy.
outside of that, I mean, I'm gonna let y'all handle y'all top 5, but I'm gonna let you all cook on this. And Luscion, I'm gonna let you go first, sir.
Yeah, I don't have 2 wide receivers in my top 5 actually.
Wow.
I got one for sure. But my top 5 players are going to start with the Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love. The kid had five games with 100+ yards last season. He had 17 touchdowns, averaging 6.9 yards per carry. He is the top returning running back in college football. They also have, in my opinion, which we'll touch on later, one of the best offensive lines in college football. So having one of the top offensive line, mostly your starting lineup coming back, that just spells great things for that kid in Notre Dame, what they got going on. Second, I got Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State. No matter how I feel about that university, that kid's explosive. He's different. And, let's face it, they play cupcakes, so he's going to be able to put up big numbers. Now, my third one, a lot of people are going to be like, what are we even talking about here? But I'm going to go Sam Leavitt for Arizona State quarterback.
Okay.
And that's just because of the conference they play and the competition they're going to be going against the DBs. And plus, he has one of the top returning receivers also to go with him in college football, and Jordan Tyson. Number 4 will be the running back from Penn State, Nicholas Singleton. Had 12 touchdowns last season, averaging 6.3 yards per carry. Also playing in the Big Soft 10. So he's going to get a lot of carries. Penn State also is known for religiously not playing any good competition, especially teams that can stop the run. So I see him making a major splash. And number 5, for me, the top 5 player in college football, it's going to be whoever right now would be Ty Simpson, but whatever Alabama quarterback takes the reins. And I say that quarterback instead of one of the wide receivers is because this year with Ryan Grubb, you're actually going to see an offense that's going to have a distributor. And we have way too many weapons just to key on one player. So I think we're going to see 2 wide receivers go off for bigger numbers, a running back go off. But I really do think it's going to be the quarterback that's going to be the general of all that. So give me the Alabama quarterback. Now, I did kind of do a 6 special mention. That's 3 players. I want to give Isaac Brown, the running back from Louisville, Jordan Tyson, as I mentioned, Arizona State wide receiver, and then Cade Klubnik, even though I feel strong hate for Clemson. Klubnik could ball out for them. He's also got a top receiver coming back. And let's face it, the ACC is not known for playing defense. That rounds out my top 5 guys. What y'all got?
Are you paying homage to Chris James with more?
I know, right? He just
what it is?
The list.
When that 31 isn't here, I gotta get I gotta represent. So that one was for Chris.
You paying big ups.
We're here, big guy.
Represent. We let you know about Chris. I love that. Was a great list. Very detailed. That's Luscion always does. Great analysis. Dan James, I'm interested to hear yours and get your thoughts on your top 5 NCAA offensive players in college football.
Okay, yes, I have 2 on the list coming with you and Lou. But I'm going to start with the 2 Jeremiahs. You got Jeremiah Smith, of course, from Ohio State. Jeremiah Love, the running back from Penn State. But I have Cade Klubnik in my top 5. He's the only quarterback I have. The rounding out the top 5, I have Ryan Williams. I think he's the number 2 weapon in college football. And the 5th one, I'm going with Nicholas Singleton, running back, slightly ahead of Trey Wisner from Texas. But those are my 5.
I like it. I'm going to give you mine. I already mentioned, I said I'm giving you Ryan Williams, Jeremiah Smith, because I'm a receiver, obviously. I'm going to go to in the trenches. I think, this kid got a lot of potential to possibly be that first tackle off the board. And I can see, going in year 2. I know we're going to talk about him later. I can see Caden Proctor slide in that position, or you look at a Parker Brailsford. To me, I think he's the best center in all of college football. But I'm with you. Jeremiah Love, the running back from Notre Dame. I think that touchdown run, wasn't he injured against, who was that they played? Penn State? And he had that run where he like broke like 5,
Right.
7,
That was ridiculous.
7 tackles. I was like, he had my respect then. Kubnik, the Clemson quarterback, he's really nice. You know, he's a big time recruit coming out. So it's going to be interesting. You know, a lot of people are, you know, they'll get like me and just look at draft boards and say these are going to be top 5 offensive players. But I think it's going to be interesting to see. And I can definitely see the quarterback, whoever it is, whether it's Ty, whoever the Alabama quarterback, to your point, Luscion, is going to be cooking in college football, going to be cooking. I mean, you look at tied in, you look at the schedule. We got Florida State week 1. Then we got to play Wisconsin. Alabama's always going to be on TV, big games, big spotlight. So guys going to be cooking. So I think that just sets up for Ty Simpson or whoever the quarterback is to be that deal. So let us know your thoughts in the chat. Who you think top 5 offensive players in college football? You know, man, that is going to be saying something crazy. I love Ben Edwards. So, guys, let's get to the next topic. Top 5 former Alabama players in the NFL currently now. I just know one. For me, Will Anderson's got to be on the list. I'm gonna let Dan go first, and I'll round it out for sure.
Okay, let's get to it then. So I'm gonna start the list with the reigning defensive player of the year, Pat Surtain. Number 2, I'm going with Jalen Hurts. Number 3, King Henry. Number 4, this just on recent production, so it gets kind of tricky a little bit, you know. So I'm gonna go with Marlon Humphrey, and man, I'm gonna pull a Lou. I'm gonna go with Xavier McKinney, Jahmyr Gibbs, Will Anderson.
Oh, you pulled a Chris James.
Lou back.
You pulled a Chris James. Lou, you want to go?
I think it goes without saying I want to go.
Okay, let's go.
So I did mine statistically and impactfully. So I took which players I thought statistically performed at a top level, but also had the highest level of impact on their team. So for me, the number 1 player has to be unequivocally King Henry. Number 2, the reigning defensive player of the year, Mr. PS2, Patrick Surtain. Josh Jacobs comes in at my number 3 because he had a 92.4 rushing grade, 1,300 yards, 15 tutties in Green Bay. His first year there, that's impressive. He also had 36 receptions for 342 yards and a touchdown. The dude just produces. Number 4, Jahmyr Gibbs. That dude is a problem. Fantasy owners love the kid. Everybody now knows that he is him. Number 5, I had trouble with. I know, Matt, you want to put Will Anderson up there, but he's got to show me a little bit more something. I got a guy who's a little bit further down on the list, but is graded top in his position group and got paid this year and won a Super Bowl. Give me Landon Dickerson.
All right.
Okay, I'm going mine. Let me give you mine. Devontae Smith, PS2, Devontae, PS2, Hurts, I'm gonna give love because he won a Super Bowl. I'm going Gibbs, and then I am going Brian Branch. I'm going Brian Branch. But it's like I want to put
Brian Branch is my 6th.
I want to put Will Anderson because I feel like Brian Branch should have been in the easily had a Pro Bowl type year this year, especially in the first.
He did. He was a Pro Bowl
10 game. Like he easily could have been all pro, but
he was the 2nd graded safety in the NFL this year.
Easily could have been all pro. So Brian Branch definitely high on my board. Gibbs was just phenomenal, Sonic, and Hurts, Devontae. I gotta give Smitty. I mean, the guy who won Heisman, National Championship, Super Bowl. I mean, he does it all, and they said he was too small to do it in NFL. So I gotta give Smitty his flowers. And PS2, I don't know what it is for a defensive back, a cornerback. I think the last time we've seen a defensive back win defensive player of the year was Darrell Revis, maybe back in the day with the Jets. Maybe
Revis Island.
So PS2, if you look at his stats on all the big time,
did Sherman win it?
Who?
Richard Sherman.
I don't know if Sherman won.
I don't think he won it. I know Revis won it.
I know Revis won. But I mean, you look at his stats on what he did against all the top receivers, like the best receiver on the opposing team, whether it's, Devontae, Justin Jefferson, whoever he played, he limited those guys to like maybe 2 catches or less than 30 yards with ease. So PS2 definitely. But y'all guys mentioned some names: Landon Dickerson, Marlon Humphrey, King Henry, obviously, but
Xavier McKinney.
You can't forget the King. Josh Jacobs. There's so many guys. Is there any guys that y'all think we're leaving off?
I think there's someone who's quietly improving his NFL play since leaving the University of Alabama. I think that's largely attributed to who his coach is. And I'm speaking of linebacker for your Houston Texans, Henry To'oTo'o.
Oh, yes. Had a great year.
Since leaving Alabama and leaving Pete Golding, his play has gone up astronomically with each season he's been there. Believe it or not, guys, he had 105 tackles this past season.
Wow.
He's someone to keep an eye on. I know we gave him a hard time at Alabama, but coaching matters. And at that point, Pete Golding was not the coach he is at Ole Miss right now. So we weren't able to see Henry blossom the way we had hoped when he transferred in from Tennessee. But the Houston Texans now are great benefactors of tremendous coaching from D'Amico Ryan. So if you want to throw a guy to keep your eyes on, then you got to mention Henry To'oTo'o.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to think who else. King Henry, Marlon Humphrey, Branch. I think we covered all the guys.
Minka. Did anyone mention
Minka? Yeah, can't forget Minka.
Bryce Young,
Bryce Young. Now let's switch it up. Who you think out of all the foreign players is going to have one of the biggest impact years in the NFL this year? Breakout years.
I'm gonna go with a guy we haven't talked about. I'm gonna say Terrion Arnold. I think he's in a good situation, in a good team. I would say Kool-Aid, but man, I don't know what the Saints are gonna do. He's on a bad team right now. It's a bad time to be a Saint.
Luscion, you want me to go or
give me Dallas Turner for the Minnesota Vikings.
Vikings.
They revamped that defense and beefed it up a lot. Give me Dallas Turner, breakout player of the year, Alabama player.
I'm gonna give you mine. A guy who's kind of had an up and down year up there in Charlotte, North Carolina, but I think he got his confidence back and he was willing towards the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was probably one of the few quarterbacks that really took it to the eventual Super Bowl champs, going against that Vic Fangio defense, and that's Bryce Young. Had the game if it wasn't.
And they got him some help. They got him some help in the
yeah,
draft.
if it wasn't for Leggett dropping the touchdown pass at the end of the game, and he's got Ted, the big time receiver out of Arizona. So I'm gonna go with Bryce Young. I'm gonna give Bryce Young. I think he's gonna have a crazy year this year. So let us know.
And they got Horn from Colorado too, didn't they?
Huh? Yeah, they got another. Yeah, Jimmy Horn. Yeah.
Yeah, they got him for.
Yeah, they got a couple guys. So I think they're gonna be legit. So that's a good man. Y'all had some amazing lists. That's why y'all call y'all the Avengers, because y'all just come up with great lists. And so it's so many players that Alabama's got so many players that I started to sweat a little bit, and I was looking for a title towel. So if you're gonna discuss Alabama football, or you're going to be in Doak Campbell Stadium when Alabama rolls against Florida State, make sure to get you a Crimson Title Towel from wetwillsports.com. Cheer on your towel, cheer on your Tide with the Alabama Crimson Title Towel. Whether you're trying to figure out the top NFL Alabama players, or you're going to be on the road in the stadium, get you a title towel at wetwillsports.com. That's STANDARD at wetwillsports.com. So, guys, let's go to our next topic. We are moving along. So, since we talked about these NFL top 5 players, former players, leads us to the big time conversation, and it's gold jackets. And gold jackets mean a lot in the NFL, and we want to know which Alabama former player or which Alabama player do you think is going to get be the next Hall of Famer. It's interesting to hear you all. So I think we might have the same player. But I want to get your thoughts. I go with Luscion Graves. Start us off on which Alabama player you think is going to get in the Hall of Fame.
Now I have a question. Do you want me to answer this with one, or can I do 2 players?
Listen, in honor of Chris James,
one is easy.
in honor, we already know who one is. In honor of Chris James, give us 2.
Yeah, no, the one. Trust me, mine are off the wall here a little bit.
Okay, you go.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the. I'm gonna go with the guy. Obviously, the only one to me that has actually solidified gold jacket with his play so far, and that's Patrick Surtain. Defensive player of the year, top 3 cornerback every year he's been in the league. He's going to continue this play. This is Hall of Fame caliber production. He's a guy that everybody wants in the locker room. He helps bring along young players, and he just flat out balls. Ball hawk. And, yeah, give me Patrick Surtain to be the next future Alabama player. And, again, I've already mentioned this guy before. Excuse me. But Landon Dickerson, 3-time Pro Bowler. He's already been in the Pro Bowl 3 times in his very short NFL career. He already has a Super Bowl in his short NFL career. These are the types of things that get offensive linemen into the gold jacket territory. So give me Patrick Surtain on defense and give me Landon Dickerson on offense. What do you got, Dan?
Well, man,
You can't say the obvious.
Okay, so we can't say the obvious. First of all, we're gonna say the obvious. Then I'm gonna throw it. We got 2 first ballot Hall of Fame. That's the King and Julio. So we're gonna throw that out the window. So Lou, if you're gonna do me like that, then I'm gonna have to copy it, man. Definitely, I'm gonna have to say Pat Surtain. He's gonna be a first ballot. But I'm gonna give you another one. And I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be Jalen Hurts. Here's why. I expect him to win multiple Super Bowls. And listen, if Troy Aikman can can get in. You know, and Jalen Hurts gonna get in, putting in better numbers. So I'm gonna go Pat Surtain and Jalen Hurts.
Ooh, I'm going. And we know the obvious. Obviously, the obvious one is Julio, Hall of Fame career. Golly, y'all are throwing. This is a tough question. I should have done my homework like you guys. You know, I just try to freestyle this thing.
All of y'all are going current. You're saying the next Crimson Tide player. I'm going to throw out two names. One might be kind of controversial, so I'm interested to see what you guys say. And the other one should definitely be in. Okay, the definite guy, Chris Samuels. The other guy, Sean Alexander.
Oh, definitely Sean Alexander.
Some people say he wasn't in the league long enough and the stats weren't quite where they needed to be considered for the role. But while he was in the NFL, he produced at a high level. He was an MVP. He got to a Super Bowl. Didn't win a Super Bowl, but he got to a Super Bowl. He made the most of his time, albeit short, than you could possibly ask for. But then again, he's a running back, and running back careers typically don't last too long. Once you're past 30, the warranty starts to wear out just a little bit. But yeah, Sean should be in the conversation. But Chris Samuels, why is he not in?
Wow. Yeah. Sterling Sharp finally got in, right? So yeah. So definitely, you know, if the wide receiver can get in, you know, with under those circumstances, definitely you have to give it to a running back because they take more of a beat.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you could obviously name. Somebody said Cornelius Bennett.
Yeah,
possibly. I'm gonna stick with the current guys, but great take by Justin. I didn't think about Sean Alexander or Chris Samuels, Big Chris. Not named Julio. Golly, I'm trying to do something different other than you. What you said, Dan, with the Hurts. Ugh.
It's tough because there's only really I only had one other guy that had a potential. That's Amari Cooper. He's got to play a couple more seasons, but that's the only one statistically that had a potential.
You don't think
other than that, huh?
Marlon Humphrey?
No.
You don't think so?
Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
He's
been a top 5 corner at his position his entire career. So you definitely have to consider him every year since
but if you he had his top grade this year at 79 overall, and looking at some of the other Hall of Fame corners, that's not really he's going to have to win a Super Bowl, or he's going to have to get a Defensive Player of the Year nod to get, you know what I'm saying, to get to that next level of actually in the gold jacket, in my opinion.
Charles Dodell said something. Dante Hightower, 3-time Super Bowl.
Yeah. 3-time Super Bowl champion. Yeah, he'll
probably be the next one.
Yeah, he'll probably get in there. Great.
Hey, is he eligible though?
Like Charles Dodell said, you know, if we're going to put Hightower in there, what about Biscuit?
Hey, is he eligible though?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say Hightower's not eligible yet. He hasn't been playing not long enough.
Yeah.
He's played. He's retired now, right? Well, he's been playing. He played.
What is it, like 2 or 3 years?
I thought you had to be like 3 or 4 years removed.
Yeah. I think it's. I don't want to say. I think it's 4 years.
I mean,
so he might just be eligible this year. But yeah, Dante Hightower's definitely going in for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm gonna go with Derrick Henry. I definitely see for sure getting in there, and Patrick Surtain. Those are gonna be my two. With definitely a lot of love for Cooper.
Julio.
I mean, I'm saying not name Julio. We know Julio is going to be there. But Dan, if you're saying Jalen Hurts is going to win more Super Bowls, shoot, that means Devontae Smith. I mean, he gonna have big games, and he shows up at all the big moments. So we know that has a lot to do with it. Smitty could easily be in there, Devontae Smith. So I want to get you all's thoughts, but I didn't think about the Sean Alexander, Chris Samuels, or Dante Hightower. Great conversation for sure.
Anybody in an Eagles uniform
Right.
that went to Bama. Anybody that went to Bama in an Eagles uniform could potentially have a Hall of Fame career.
Hall of Fame careers.
Jahad Campbell.
Maybe Detroit Lion
No.
too now.
Yeah.
Shoot.
For sure. Oh man, that's good. Good conversation there. Now let's move to our next topic because I know Lou, you're big on this. Top offensive lines in college football. Who wins the Joe Moore Award? First, let's set up who you think is, give us maybe your top 3, 4, 5 offensive lines, and then give us your answer regarding who's going to win that Joe Moore Award.
Who's going first, Dan? Me or Dan?
Yeah. So
let's go, Dan.
Yeah. Well, ESPN, they predicted, one of 3 offensive line units would win it, and all 3 are from the SEC. So you had Bama, Georgia, Texas. So I'm gonna go with Bama. I think we have the key pieces returning. We have Parker Brailsford, who I think is the best center, and I don't think there's a better tackle on either of the other 2 contenders than Caden Proctor. And we got Jaden Roberts, who I think is the best guard in the country. So I'm going to go with Bama. I expect Bama to win the Joe Moore Award, especially when you got Grubb back, and we got tight end help. It's just contingent on offensive tackle play, So I expect Bama to definitely be the winner of the Joe Moore Award this year.
All right, cool. After you go, Luscion, I got another question regarding offensive line, Alabama specifically. But I want to get your answer about who are the top offensive lines in college football, and who do you think is going to win the Joe Moore?
So I did mine a little bit differently. I did mine based off of the top returning linemen this year in college football. And the team that had the most top returning college football offensive linemen was the Notre Dame Irish. I mean, they basically are returning 5 starters. They got 2 of the top tackles in the nation, 1 of the top guards in the nation, and they've all played together, and they all got time together. And as everybody knows, the more time an offensive line spends together, the more time they get to flow, the more on point they get, the more they can move step by step. Now, plus, they're not going to be playing the type of absolute dogs some of these other lines I have on here. Now, the second team that had the most returning off top-rated linemen was the Alabama Crimson Tide, with Caden Proctor coming in at 5, Jaden Roberts coming in at number 20, and Parker Brailsford coming in at 26. The Tide have an absolute boss trio in those guys. Caden Proctor, if he has the season that everybody thinks he has, he could be the number 1 overall player taken in next year's draft. He has that type of potential. He's put in his time. It's now his time to lead. Now, third, I don't have another offensive line in the SEC because there's not enough. To me, there wasn't enough returning offensive linemen to really give it to another offensive lineman. Texas, they lost too much. Georgia, they're getting pulled over speed, and they don't really have a chance to be eligible this season. So give me the Oregon Ducks. They got some transfers in. And when I say they got some transfers in, they got 2 dudes that are just absolute dogs, and these guys are big. And let's face it, they're in the Big Ten. They play cupcakes. They don't really got to block for too long to make it pretty. So, but my Joe Moore award winners are obviously the Crimson Tide. I think we're going to have the most depth at offensive line because I've said this before. You're going to need at least 6 to 7 guys to rotate, especially since we're playing this 12-team playoff. You're going to need guys to step up. And I think Alabama has primed themselves in not only just the transfer portal, but especially in recruiting the young talent and identifying the coach and Coach Cap and the return of Ryan Grubb. I think this season you're going to see Alabama Crimson Tide return to that bully mentality and bring home the Joe Moore Award.
I agree. I'm with you on that. Couldn't have said it better, Luscion. But I got a question regarding Alabama's offensive line. Give me your prediction of who the starter is going to be. We already know Parker Brailsford. We already know Caden Proctor.
And Jaden Roberts.
I'm going to let y'all fill out y'all's offensive starting 5.
Okay, I'll go first. So the other 2 slots I expect to be manned by Cam Dewberry and Welcome Formby. With Geno Vandermark as a swing man on the interior.
So you got Proctor, left tackle. Who's your guard?
Left guard is going to be Cam Dewberry. Center, Brett, right guard, Jaden Roberts. Right tackle, Welcome Formby.
Formby. So Formby's going to solidify the right tackle.
Oh, yeah. I expect a big year out of him.
Okay. Luscion, I want to get your thoughts.
He got a little smile.
I know. I can't wait to hear it. That's why I posed the question.
See, this is tough because I truly believe that this summer is going to make a massive difference for some of these young players to catch some of these older cats. I think being on campus in the spring is very important to your development, especially as a young player, and most importantly, getting acclimated to the weight room and be able to play man football. So, in saying that, I'm gonna do something crazy.
Here for it.
Crazy. Get wild.
Give me Caden Proctor, left tackle. Give me Cam Dewberry, left guard. Parker Brailsford at center. Jaden Roberts at right guard. But we're going to see a swing player, and that swing player will be Michael Carroll.
Wow.
And I think he could possibly swing between the right and the left.
At guard?
But eventually establish on one of those positions, just like a former guy that went to IMG Academy that just got drafted by the Cowboys, named Tyler Booker. And at right tackle, I'm a firm believer that you either got it or you don't. I'm also a fan of what they call the dancing bear. And one of these, this kid reminds me of an offensive lineman that Alabama had that just loved to block people. So I am not going to go Welcome Formby as my right tackle. Give me Jackson Lloyd. Beaten out Formby because the kid is special. And I think a summer in the weight room, and here's something you can't teach. He is aggressively game time mean. A lot of offensive linemen are mean, and they don't really know how to use it. He is very smart and very, very technical. And I think this summer he's gonna come along. And I think he not only pushes Formby, I think he beats him out because I think he's more athletic and I think he has better feet. That's my take. I like the youth, and I think that Caleb DeBoer and Ryan Grubb, the way their coaching styles are, they're not going to play an older guy just to play an older guy. like, you know, some of the people on the other coaching staff. If a young guy's more talented, they're going to play. That's why I think you're going to see a lot of youth this season, because a lot of youth is better than some of the talent on our team. And that starts with the offensive line, ladies and gentlemen.
Man,
yeah, we saw a lot of youth last year, so yeah, he's definitely not afraid to play young guys.
What Dan, what are your thoughts about Jackson Lloyd?
Man, I really love the guy. Like Lou said, dancing there. You know, there was a highlight of him in basketball, you know, running on the outlet, you know, going up for a two-hand slam, you know, a guy 280 pounds in, you know what I'm saying? You love athleticism, but he's out ahead of the field. He's out on the outlet running the court, you know. So, you know, very athletic guy, you know, and he has great feet, you know, and he has quite a punch, you know, so he can play anywhere along the offensive line. You know, he's one of those guys that's just good. He's a football player, you know, so definitely, you know, not just a great football player, a great athlete, you know, student of the game. So, you know, I expect him to end up eventually being a team captain, you know, a long NFL career. But, you know, if Lou says it's going to be early, hey, who am I to argue with that?
It's just his film and his feet just say he's a little bit better. I know he hasn't played a college game yet, but he also played against good talent, and he camped against good talent as well. I think he is I think he's one of the top people in his class at going against speed rushers. And the SEC is known for long speed rushing pass rushers, for lack of a better word. And I think that Jackson Lloyd would give us probably the best defense against, especially having a quarterback that's going to be in his first year. You don't want a right tackle that's going to be, you know, getting blown up or being able to, you know, just go around him. And I'm not taking anything away from Formby. This is Alabama. You went there to compete, so compete. Prove me wrong. I think Jackson Lloyd's going to take you. Make sure you don't take it.
I like that. I think from what I've heard, I mean, I think everybody's heard coming out of spring, the two freshman offensive linemen that looked the most ready were Michael Carroll and Jackson Lloyd. So it's going to be interesting to see. I'm quite sure Coach Cap's going to develop those guys. I think these guys are going to be 8 deep, you know, a lot of rotation early in the season to kind of solidify, gain experience, gain depth in different positions, probably mix and match a lot. Just a lot of versatility up front with the offensive line. So give us your take in the comments. But guys, I got another question for you guys. Speaking of Alabama football season, we talked about who do you think is going to have the breakout year in the NFL. Who do you think is going to have a breakout year, the biggest breakout year for Alabama football this year, but on defense? I want to get your thoughts.
Okay, that's an easy one for me. You know, this guy went into the perfect situation, you know. And you know, I'm gonna have to say Jahad Campbell at Philadelphia. He's gonna be.
I'm talking about and not in. Well, okay, we'll leave it in NFL. Leave it in NFL. Leave it in the. Continue, Dan. Continue.
Okay. Oh, now you want to you're gonna do
no. Let's stick with the NFL. Let's stick with the NFL.
Okay, definitely Jahad Campbell, man. He walked into a great situation, you know. So yeah, he's gonna, you know, probably just he could just ride Jalen Hurts' coattail, you know, Super Bowl, and you know he's gonna have a Hall of Fame career, I think.
Yeah. Luscion, Mr. Graves.
I mean, Jahad Campbell, because honestly, everybody else went to teams that are almost like dumpster fire levels. I mean, let's face it. I mean, the Cowboys, they don't even know what's going on. They got 2 diva wide receivers right now. The Buccaneers, I mean, you know, I would say Jahad Campbell. I mean, and the rich got richer. I mean, The kid was a top linebacker, and he's the most probably the most utility player in the whole entire first round because he can play so many different positions. So yeah, I'm gonna go with John Campbell too.
Shout out! I'm gonna give y'all gonna love this. This is gonna be for my guy Daniel Petty. I'm gonna go to his famous running back. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing.
Gotcha.
No, but now I want to shift that question back to Alabama football, and it got me thinking. Luscion, you were talking about, guys in the summer having, a lot of competition, getting in that weight room. Here shortly in like another month or so, I think after 4th of July, or probably June, they're going to be going hard. Which summer enrollee are you most excited to see come join this Alabama Crimson Tide team that wasn't in spring?
Oh, Caleb Edwards.
Oh man. All right, you took mine.
Caleb Edwards, yeah.
Okay.
We got all this new tight end talent because we were lacking depth, but we had a guy that's not here yet, and he's supposed to be supremely talented, and his ceiling is high. And me and Dan have talked about this kid. I didn't mean to take his, but I'm very high up on him. If we're going, so give me him on the offensive side for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay. Dan, let me get yours.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with another one, a West Coast kid. Everyone has been talking about DeJohn Lee, but we got another one coming, man. Another guy that y'all are gonna love. You know what I'm saying? You love DeJohn Lee, but man, trust me, y'all. Wait till we get Chuck McDonald on campus. You're gonna love.
He is gonna be a problem.
This guy, yes. I guess we'll call him the Golden Arch.
That's what I'm saying. McDonald's.
That's right. that'll be his interception celebration.
Hey, Dan, if you could comp him to a former Alabama DB, who would it be?
Ooh, man.
I think you're gonna like mine.
Oh man, I'm gonna say
Alabama DB.
He kind of puts me in the mind of a D. Milliner.
You know who I think?
Who do you think?
Marlon Humphrey.
Oh wow,
track guy, physical, long armed, and he's heady. That dude will stick his nose in on any type of tackle, just like Marlon.
I like that.
I'm gonna show my age, Deshae Townsend.
Good one.
You took it back on that one.
Hey, sometimes you gotta bring it back to understand where you came from.
Yeah, I like that.
Deshae was that dude.
Deshae was that dude. Is he still at Steelers, or is he at where's he coaching at now? Deshae Townsend.
Oh man, I don't know.
It was with the Steelers for a second, but I'm not sure.
Didn't he go to Mississippi State or something like that for a second? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I love that player comp. I'm trying to think who else is enrolling. Dan, do you know who all's enrolling in the summer besides Chuck McDonald and Caleb Edwards?
Don't we got London?
Yeah, London.
Yeah. Defensive lineman.
Yeah.
Okay. Since we're going rapid fire questions before we get
the answer to the question is he's with the Detroit Lions.
Lions. Thank you, Justin. Justin always comes.
That would explain all the Bama DBs.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Ryan Branch is about to eat.
Oh, somebody said Fernando Brown with more speed. Man,
good one, man. I can see that. Yeah.
Top row. So, guys, now I posed the question: which Alabama player is going to have a breakout year in the NFL? Give me which player is going to have a breakout year for Alabama in 2025.
Oh yeah.
Dan, go first, so I don't take yours.
Man, and I think it's going to be at the expense of someone else. But man, let me tell you, from what I'm seeing in the spring, man, a lot of people are sleeping on him. But man, this guy was added to the little, podcast for a reason. I'm going to say Drake Kirkpatrick Jr., man. I think he's going to have a surprisingly good year, but I think it's going to be at the expense of someone, maybe Red Morgan or someone, but definitely Drake Kirkpatrick. He is a player, and you know, playmakers. You know what I'm saying? You just can't keep them off the field.
You can't.
Yeah. So someone gets injured. That's why you got Bray Hubbard. Bray Hubbard got in. You know, he's a playmaker. What you gonna do? You can't take him off the field.
Nope.
You know. So, man, listen, guys. Everyone better stay healthy because Drake and Patrick Jr. He's gonna be a problem.
I'm interested to hear Luscion Graves. I got names that is going off in my head that I think Luscion's going to say, but he's on one tonight, so he's going to go up from way in left field somewhere, a name that nobody's thinking of. So I'm interested to hear Luscion's names of who he thinks is going to have a breakout year for Alabama in 2025.
Yeah, the phrase breakout means, somebody that you're not expecting, a name that everybody's forgotten, not necessarily forgotten, but they're not really paying attention to. So this one is a very, very difficult question to answer, but I think I did my best and I think I got an answer. And I think I'm going to pick the meanest defensive lineman that Alabama has right now. The only defensive lineman to get a penalty for being a defensive lineman in the last 4 freaking seasons. That's sad. And I want to challenge our defense. I know it's a penalty and we don't like penalties, but if you're going to get a freaking penalty, get a penalty for hitting somebody, for knocking someone's dick in the freaking dirt. Don't get a holding penalty. Don't get a pass interference. Knock someone's freaking head off. Jordan Raynaud. Good. Flat out. Everyone's talking about LT Overton. Everyone's talking about James Smith. Everyone's talking about Tim Keenan. Quay Russo. That's my guy. Y'all already know I ride with.
That's where I thought you were going.
Y'all already, everybody knows Quay. Breakout is somebody you're not going to expect.
Yeah.
See, everybody thought number 11, he went to the Eagles. No one's thinking about number 11 until he runs back and puts his hand in the dirt and comes and smashes your quarterback about 7-8 times this season. So my breakout player, Jordan Raynaud, with an asterisk. With an asterisk.
Shouts out to Chris James.
Shouts out to Chris James. I'm going to give you a guy that I think has been one of the most disrespected players. And I think he's going to ball out this season because ain't no national news really coming on him because, we got Ryan Hollywood Williams. But give me Isaiah Horton.
I'm telling you.
Horton is going to he's going to have a Jameson Williams like explosive type season this year. I'm telling you. And the kid does absolutely nothing but work. Every time I see him on social media, he's either camping, he's either working on his craft. Not to say that a whole bunch of other players aren't doing it. Like I've seen James Smith, Jordan Raynaud, them doing their things. A couple other receivers. Ty Simpson just got invited to the Manning camp, so that's obviously a huge news, great things. These players are putting the work in. But constantly seeing Zay Horton work, and he's constantly getting his teammates to do the same thing. And if hard work is contagious on this team, we might see the whole damn roster break out. Hell, we might even see a freshman in Derrick Meadows go off. We already know Latier Brooks is going to go off, but we might just see every wide receiver and every player on our offense go off because we got that style of offense and we got the talent to do it. And I can for damn sure tell you, we're going to blow teams out enough to where you're going to see our whole roster.
I'm so excited. I'm going to go with one that, we got a loaded secondary, but, this guy, I think he has potential to really put NFL GMs on notice, and give me Cameron Calhoun. I think he's going to play a pivotal role in lining up in so many different areas on the secondary that's just going to confuse opposing offensive minds. Like you can put him at corner, you can put him at freaking
nickel. You can do them wherever you want, all across. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
How ridiculous he's gonna be an asset to really let Kane Womack's defense, Mo Linguist, all those guys cook, confusing offensive coordinators and quarterbacks. Lou?
Matt, let me ask you a question though.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do when you got at least 5 guys that you can line up literally anywhere in the secondary, and you're not gonna miss a beat?
And listen,
mismatches. Yeah,
it's gonna be.
I don't think. Have you guys ever seen a secondary where you can literally match up to any wide receiving core that comes against you because you got fast guys, you got tall guys, you got, I mean, for real, we playmakers and at a high level, and they're not just playmakers. We got some burners.
Elite
burner. Yeah. Damani Jackson, absolute burner. We got one coming in, Chuck McDonald, burner. Ball hawks everywhere. Day Jones, Xavier Brown, you know,
so many guys.
Xavier Mincy, Bray Hubbard, and we're just talking about Drake Patrick, like
Red Morgan still, you know,
and Red Morgan. Like, and there's still some other guys I'm sure we're not mentioning. I know
it's crazy the depth that we have. You know, Cam Howard, you know.
Yeah, Cam Howard. Like it does not spell good news. If we get a pass rush, this might be we might have the best secondary for the next couple of years because it's not going to stop. We're recruiting at a high level. Look at the DBs we got next year's class.
Gibson, Edmonds.
It's crazy.
And we're going to get some more, Dan, aren't we? We're going to get some more, Dan James.
All right.
I'm excited. But Dan, speaking of recruiting, any update coming up regarding recruits before we get the question and answer from the audience? Any updates on recruiting? I know official visits about to be going off here shortly. So just want to get your thoughts. Any recruiting updates?
Nothing really, you know, but until after the official visit. You know, Alabama's not going to waste their time, you know, bringing in a guy for an official that they're not going to push for. So, you know, keep that in mind. Follow the visits. Follow the in-home visits. This is the time of year, you know, y'all follow the in-home visit and follow the official and non-official visits, you know. So that'll tell you, you know, how we're looking.
I do have a question regarding recruiting. A couple weeks ago, our player personnel guru, Courtney Morgan, tweeted out a kind of cryptic tweet saying no gloves, the gloves are coming off or something like that. Mm-hmm. What are you hearing? What did that mean? Is that a potential shot maybe at another school, maybe a Miami, maybe a USC? What are your thoughts, or what have you guys kind of heard the meaning of that? Or was it just motivation? I want to get your thoughts. What do you think that cryptic tweet mean from Courtney Morgan?
I don't think it was that, because, you know, we're not going to get into a bidding war with the Oregons and the Miami. We're just not going to do it. We're not going to pay guys, you know, more than what guys on the team are making. You know, makes sense. So we're not going to get in the bidding war and give a kid, you know, that hadn't played D1 football a ridiculous amount of money. That's not how Bama is built. That's not what Alabama is about. So I'm thinking it meant, you know, that's just me speculating, but I would think it was towards negative recruiting. So it's a guy that, you know, we already have in the class. So it's probably people, you know, putting things in our current recruits' head, you know. So yeah, you know, if he tweets that, you know, trust me, you don't want to get on that side of Courtney Morgan, you know. So yeah, so gloves off. It's gloves off.
Gloves off. Ding ding ding! Now, it's time to go. Lou,
I took that a different way.
Okay.
See, Mr. Courtney Morgan, when he says something, he says it with a certain amount of meaning. So when he said the gloves off, I think he that was a message to it don't matter where you're committed. It don't matter what they said that you are gonna do. When Mr. Courtney Morgan come in town off that plane, the gloves is off. If he wants you, he gonna get you. That's what I think he meant by, okay, I'm taking the gloves off. If you committed somewhere, oh, you committed here? That's cool, son. Why don't you come on an official to Alabama? As soon as they get that official to Alabama, they ain't going nowhere. You know how that man works? I think the gloves off was a signal to some recruits that are already committed elsewhere that Mr. Courtney Morgan coming, and the summer's going to get cold quick, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's go.
Cold real quick. Real quick.
I love it. I mean, great round robin, rapid fire questions. I mean, you know, when I get with the Avengers, they start flowing and I got to ask them. So let's get to the chat. We know y'all got some amazing questions and answers. So let's get to them from our amazing chat. Mr. Big Man Edwards says, I have a question for the panel. Is Daniel Petty gone on K2 Spice and lost at Dave Matthews concert? We put out an APB van, so we're still trying to gather as much information. Lou?
I have it on good authority that Mr. Daniel Petty is on a secret mission. I'm not sure if he's spying or doing anything of that, but I know he's on a top secret mission. But he will be back.
I know what he's doing. He's doing the Austin Simmons fan club for his double agent school.
He might be doing some dirty wet work so that they bring the Denny dog back. I can neither confirm nor deny.
You never know
these allegations, but he's doing something to maybe bring it back. It's almost that.
It's all about the Denny dog with Daniel Petty. Great question right there from Van. Next, let's see what we got up. Which side of the ball do y'all think will be more improved this year? I think that easily for me, offense. You on mute, Dan.
I mean, the defense, I mean, it's going to be top in the country, but it has to be the offense because the offense, let's face it, was about as fluent as dog water last year. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy. Yeah, definitely offense, you know, simply because of Ryan Grubb.
Yeah, I agree. Let's get to the next one. Kenneth says, I really want to see D-Law go out there and kill it. Almost seemed like he was saving his body even before he got hurt last season. I know I'm wrong. I think he was referring to Deontay Lawson. You know, I just think for him, he just got to get healthy because we got some Thundercats out there that will fill the void even and might you listen. Like Lou said earlier, you're dealing with a defense, a staff that's like, hey, they evaluate. They
and no offense. No offense. We've seen this happen with upper linebackers before. Joshua McMillan went down. Never heard from him again. Dylan Moses went down. Never heard from him again. Both these guys are starters. In Alabama, that's what I'm saying. This summer is huge for certain players. Like, they could take such a step forward. If they're already making plays in camp, you're not going to insert a guy that's been hurt for the last 6-7 months, especially when he's gelling with everybody else and what's going on with the defense. So,
yeah.
And trust me, listen, man, you know, it just a matter of this guy actually picking up the defense, man, but it's a guy, man, he might be the most slept on person in Tuscaloosa, and that's QB Reese.
Oh, this guy, we talked about him. Me and Lou talked about him.
He was getting reps with the ones. You know what I'm saying? This is what you call a true blue collar development guy. You know, and these guys have a high hit rate when they get on the field. So a guy like that had to really work his way into the situation that he's in. That's a guy that's gonna be very highly productive. So yeah, like you say, Deontay Lawson coming back was huge because he's the green dot guy. He's the guy that signals the plays and everything. So you have the experience coming in. And that's where even when Dylan Moses battling injuries, that's what he was so key at. Being able to signal the play, get guys lined up. And that's very beneficial, especially with our youth at linebacker. But having Justin Jefferson come back as well that's huge. So it became, Kane Womack talked about it. It became a strength of the team. So that's big. But man, listen, man, like we say, Lou, don't get hurt, man.
Don't get hurt. Not at Bama.
It's not the team to come. You're not coming back.
It's some guys in that room.
It's some dogs.
Hey, you can't forget too. And I am so big on Abdul Sanders,
right?
Because he has already played in this defense, so he already knows a lot. You give him a summer to become an even bigger man. Like he already 230 pounds. He came in. He was the one out of the 3 linebackers that came in ready to play already in the springtime. The summer, you give him months plus fall camp. 35 is a legendary number for the Tide, and they don't just give that number out lightly. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say.
Yep.
No.
Matt, you played with Freddie Roach. A lot of friends coming down hard on. What about Freddie fans overly that makes you believe he will silence the critics? Well, like I said, he's got to silence the critics. He's got to put up. And I think he's got the right personnel. Year 2 going in the defensive scheme. I just think he's got to tweak some things here and there and get these guys humming because we got the secondary. We just need to get production from the front 4, and if he does that, he'll be able to silence the critics. Lou?
I think there's one player in the defensive line room that could really potentially save Freddie Roach's job this season, and that's Stephen Mumbayo. If Freddie Roach can bring that absolute freak, scary of nature along to crack that rotation, I don't know if there's anybody more explosive and more physically fit to play defensive line than Stephen Mumbayo. He's raw, but if Freddie Roach can somehow figure out to hone that explosiveness into a defensive lineman, then his job will be saved because he's brought along some guys slowly. So we're not sure if that's their natural development or that's his coaching. But if he can take a freshman that's that raw and turn him into an SEC grinding roadhouse, his job will be saved, in my opinion.
Dan, anything you want to add?
I think Roach he catches a lot of flack, but listen, Kevin Steele only year last year in Bama, the 1 year the defensive line, y'all got to remember it improved tremendously.
Yeah,
so he had been churning out the 5 stars, but he has been doing a very good job of getting guys developed. He just been catching a little flack, but NIL changed the game a little bit, so he had to go with developmental guys, and these guys 4th, 5th year, that's what other teams were doing. That's what the Michigans were doing and everything. So we just got to give this year should be the money year for Freddie Roach, and I think we'll see much improved defensive line play.
Let's get it. Next question. Lou, tell us why Justice Hill will have a breakout year.
I think he's definitely poised to make some noise in that room because we don't have an overly established pass rusher now in that room. So as far as I'm concerned, Quay Russo right now will be your number 1 guy. But as far as getting to the passer and getting him down, I like Justin Hill. I'm high on Justin Hill more than I am probably anybody else in that room. And then second would probably be Noah Carter. So my top three would probably be Quay, Justin Hill, and Noah Carter, just because those three give you the speed, the physicality, and you're not losing physicality because you want speed. Some of those other guys in that room, you might get one, but you're going to lose out in the other. But I think those three, you're going to get it. I think Justin Hill could potentially have a freshman All-American type of a season, because I feel that we're going to get teams in pass rushing situations where he's going to be able to just pin back his ears and just blow up an offensive tackle. So I think Justin Hill is poised for breakout year just because of the type of defense we have. We're going to get teams in long down. They're going to be in passing situations because you're not going to pass on us. Mm-hmm. And once you start to run, if our defensive line plays how they are, and Tim Keenan is looking absolutely lighter than I've ever seen him before. So all that spells out to you're not going to move the ball very much. And we're going to have people in negative down situations, which means our pass rushers will have opportunities to make plays. And that kid from Ohio has got some serious, mean, aggressive hands, and he knows how to finish.
And can I say this? This recruiting class, 3 years from now, that NFL draft, easily see 5 first rounders. You can have Russell, Brooks, Dijon Lee, Justice Hill. Who else we missed? There's so many guys.
You didn't mention the linemen.
Yeah,
you gonna have Michael Carroll, Jackson Lloyd.
It's just like
real. And then the tight end, you gonna have Marshall Pritchett.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Edwards. Possibly Isaiah Taylor or Isaac or
Ivan Taylor.
Ivan Taylor.
Oh my God.
Curly hair. You know what I'm saying? Like, that draft is going to be stupid.
All of that class is just loaded. I don't care what nobody say. That's the class going to
AK Deer. You know, it's loaded. Yeah.
Loaded.
And honestly, we're going to see a lot of those. Chuck McDonald, we're going to see a lot of those players play this year.
Yep. Because they'll play them at Bama with DeBoer and all them guys. They'll play them.
And plus, you've seen what that modern day pipeline does. Everyone's, well, Chuck McDonald ain't here. To me, I'm not too worried about it, because he comes from a program, and we've seen it in 2 of our corners that they come in ready to play. The guy is a track star, so you know he's fast. He comes from modern day. You don't know about modern day as an Alabama fan, you better get a clue, because both of our starting corners went there.
Yep. And our Heisman Trophy quarterback.
Right. So that is a pipeline. I mean, it's just that I'm excited.
That Bama gonna at least have 5 first rounders in that class easily.
Shoot, we might set the record.
Yeah,
we might set the record.
Oh man. Okay, was that the last question? I guess. Great question from Stephen M. Smith. He says, Dan, how are you feeling about London Simmons sneaking into the defensive line rotation? We got London on the track.
Steve, my brother, man, good to hear from you, man. Let me say this. London Simmons, he is one of the most underrated defensive linemen in the class of 2025, probably the most. And you know, with him being a late enrollee, you know, I don't see him making much of an impact this year, because you know he had 2 JUCO guys coming in with them, you know, so you had Keontae George and Steve M. But I'm gonna say he's gonna be very productive. I'm gonna say take like a Quentin Williams role. You know, you're gonna see him play more next year, then have a breakout season year 3. So that's a guy, you know, I expect to come in, you know, get acclimated and everything, get ready. Year 2, he's gonna play a little more. Year 3, it's gonna be money year, and I don't see him playing past 3 years in Tuscaloosa. That's how highly I think of him.
Great question right there. Well, guys, that's been another amazing show with the Crimson Avengers here on the Final Whistle. Dan, how can they follow you? Mention all the other shows. We know you got the Crimson Dynasty tomorrow. Petty's got tons of shows. Just shout those shows out as well. Here on the Final Whistle.
Yeah, definitely. Catch me right here every Tuesday night, the Final Whistle, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Wednesdays, the Crimson Dynasty, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Central. You catch me on X at the Final Whistle Dan. You catch me on Instagram, Dan James IV. If you can't reach me that way, I'm gonna do something, that a lot of y'all won't do, man. I'm gonna give y'all my personal number. It's 229-555-5555.
Why is my phone blowing up? And why'd you use my cell number? Oh man, Lou, how can they reach you?
You can find me on X, Rolu241, Facebook and Instagram, Luscion Graves. And on Tuesday nights, you already know the drill. I'm here with the Avengers, talking all things Alabama football and hurling shots at, coaches like, Kirby Smart, not having his players obey the speed limit, Hugh Freeze, Andy Hugh Freeze, and his, massage parlors. We haven't really had to hate on Hugh because, he's got some stuff going on, but
yeah,
I'm still going to hate on him. I heard since, the Diddy trial, died down, he might have a chance to get his massage oil back into circulation. So shout out to Hugh about getting his KY jelly back. But, it's fun on Tuesday nights, baby. Roll daggum tide.
Roll daggum tide. And, you can
follow. Look at Steve and him in the chat, man. He on me.
Miss Eunice. Oh, Miss Eunice. I heard Miss Eunice got jealous with Miss
Gertrude. Yeah. Miss Gertrude is making a move, man.
Yeah, Miss Gertrude was doing a little something.
Yeah, I'm really thinking about, sharing bedpans.
Oh man. But yeah, follow us, hit us up on the Final Whistle. Hey, at the end of the day, you can find all your great Bama content here on the Bama Standard Network. So many shows. I think one thing about the Bama Standard, they're gonna have a show content all throughout the week. Not only just with the Final Whistle, you got the Bama Vision with Stephen M. Smith. You got so many other shows here on the Bama Standard Network. So we just like to be your one-stop shop for Alabama football content. But at the end of the day, join us every Tuesday night right after the Bama Standard here on the Final Whistle Network. And, we like to end on those last two words that we like to say, roll daggum tide.
Roll tide. And we don't give a piss about nothing but
the tide.
Blitz, Bama, blitz.